Resolution number 14-098.
On behalf of the Senior Center for their food drive so we can continue Stone Soup, I would like to accept the donation of $2,500 from the Metal Express Corporation here in Pacific.
Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 14-098.
Vic, would you like to speak your motion?
Just, I think we should appreciate the donation that Metal Express has given us to keep our soup dish open.
Okay, Councilmember Holton?
Yeah, the reason that donation would require council approval is because it is earmarked for this purpose. And I concur with it, that city is grateful for
Any other comments from council? Councilmember Steiger?
I think that the Metals Express should have some real recognition for this because they have been a very, very good financial supporter for the city. Any event that we have, he's got a pocketbook is open right now.
Okay, to the city and the city partnership. Any other comments from council? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, roll call of council, please.
Councilmember Holton?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Case?
Aye.
Councilmember Knudsen?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger?
Aye.
Madam Mayor, I
Yes.
believe that the donor, Metal Express, should have a round of applause.
Thank you, Councilman Holton. All right, next item on the agenda is resolution 14-099.
On behalf of the Pacific Gym, I would like to accept 3 money orders for $500 each from an anonymous donor. I would like to accept them on Joe and Fletcher's behalf.
And those were earmarked for the Pacific Mission.
Yes.
Questions from council?
I'm to approve resolution 14-099.
Second.
Councilman Holtby, would you like to make a motion?
Once again, it's dedicated donation and requires council approval, and the youth center does a tremendous amount of good work.
Councilman Steiger?
Any monies that we can get are highly appreciated for the youth program.
Any other comments from council? Comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call of council, please.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Case?
Aye.
Councilmember Knudsen?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger?
Aye.
Councilmember Walker is absent. Councilmember Holtby?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So whoever the anonymous donor is, I'm sure that the youth center is very grateful. Thanks to you for all the help you can get. All right, so next item on the agenda is resolution 14-100.
Hello, resolution number 14-100 is a resolution of the City Council setting a public hearing for the purposes of taking public testimony prior to considering the extension of a moratorium on medical collective gardens in the City of Pacific and initiating the same moratorium for recreational marijuana.
Any questions from council?
I have a question more related to our attorney in reference to a statement that was made by the gentleman earlier, and a question related to the previous moratoriums. The previous moratoriums have always been related to the medical marijuana and not to the personal consumption, personal use. We're not in fact creating a new moratorium. De facto, we're extending an existing moratorium, correct?
We are extending an existing moratorium, and we are adding a moratorium, if you so choose, with regards to recreational marijuana.
As the moratorium paperwork that I saw last week was one moratorium with the addition of the recreational marijuana, which is a modification to the original moratorium. The concern I have, run my whole statement out, the concern I have is that we have consistently been dealing with the medical marijuana issue, and we've had consistently dealt with the moratorium related to that issue. I understand what we're trying to do, but I want to make sure that we're within the legal bounds of extension of an existing moratorium that did not include before the recreational marijuana issue. So I want to make, what legal grounds we put in place that we have
I
strong
would love
standing.
to address that for you. Now that we belong to AWC, and we were told during the interview process that they have a full staff that is dealing with the medical marijuana as well as recreational marijuana. And we have already sent over to AWC our draft of the moratorium, and they have already sent back suggestions. You're going to see the moratorium on next week's workshop, based on their attorney's recommendations that we're going to be bringing back forward. This right here is just setting the hearing.
I understand that.
But also, and I believe there's no objection to us including in that moratorium, making the moratorium different because we're doing a new moratorium.
That is my understanding as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because,
Correct.
we have repetitively
Right.
extending.
And we've been working on it repetitively.
Right.
Now we're working with AWC and their staff, and they have already looked at our current moratorium that we're working on. They've sent back suggestions, and I've asked Amy to put it on next week's workshop agenda for discussion. Councilmember Case.
I guess I have the same concern. I mean, we're adding recreational marijuana. We have people planning to do business in our city. When there wasn't a moratorium in place, how does passing this moratorium after they've submitted application affect that?
One of the things that he even read in his statement, we cannot issue a business license to a business that is illegal, state or federally. And so we would not issue a business license for production or anything like that because our own code says we cannot do that because it is illegal federally. And even in the statement he read tonight, her business license meets the business license requirements. And our business license requirements that says it has to be legal state or federally, and it's not legal federal. So we cannot issue for our own code a business license. So we haven't had a moratorium on it because we haven't needed one. Our own code prohibits it. And so what we're doing, because we're working on those guidelines, we're now including a moratorium on that so that we can work on all of the guidelines and everything that needs to be put in place so that it's clear, because with the first one it wasn't even passed. Or, as far as recreational, I think, when we put on the first one, was it?
No, it was passed in November of 2012, and what this covers are businesses that are nonprofits and are not required to have licenses, and the attempt is not to prevent these things from happening, but the state is currently now working on regulations that govern both the medical and the recreational marijuana, and so it's important that if we create regulations, or when we create regulations regarding these activities, that we're looking at it as a whole. And I have great hopes that we'll be able to resolve this within 6 months, because it has gone on for a really long time. So next planning commission meeting, we will be further discussing it. We have some draft potential regulations that we've been talking about, and I have invited people who are interested to come to the planning commission meeting as well and weigh in.
Councilmember Paul.
Point of order, I think we're getting away from the purpose of the resolution, which is.
Yes,
to set
thank
a
you.
public hearing.
Right.
Well, I just wanted to clarify
More discussion.
before I make a vote on whether to set a public hearing, is it necessary to do that, or should we just let it expire? Why I wanted to.
That is an alternative. I believe having a public hearing gives council an opportunity to hear many perspectives on it, and at the end of the public hearing, council is not required to extend the moratorium.
Okay.
Councilmember
So
Chase.
Yeah, that issue, there should have been a motion made and seconded
We were
before
having-
we discussed it.
Okay.
So to resolve that issue, I move that we, I move to discuss resolution 14-100.
Second.
Councilmember Paul.
Typically, before we can have discussion, we should have a motion on the floor.
And, excuse me, I'm sorry. This does not have the date for the proposed hearing on it, from what I can see. So the motion would include
February
February 3rd.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, and sorry for interrupting.
As I recall, February 3rd is a workshop.
We're gonna have a special meeting after the workshop. We're trying to meet before it expires in case we want to extend it.
Yeah.
Correct. Councilmember Wolf, or Cyber, did you
No, I just, not, in this case, not necessarily extension unless you're gonna put two moratoriums. I'm assuming we're having one moratorium, i.e. a new moratorium, right, which includes both recreational and medical.
This is a hearing to receive comment on both medical and
But it's
recreational
on one
marijuana.
moratorium.
The recommendation is one moratorium.
Okay.
Now,
So-
council could,
Not an extension, a new creation. So,
Any other comments from
no,
council?
that's it.
Okay. Councilmember Paul.
This also gives us an opportunity to let the state decide if they're going to merge medical and recreational under the state guidelines that it's better to err on the side of caution than it is to jump into something that's still in the state of law.
Any other comments from council? Okay, comments from the audience?
Just one quick
You
comment.
could come on up here to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. James Dusick, 898 Valentine Avenue Southeast, Pacific, Washington, 98047. I just wanted to state real quick that the Department of Justice has stated that they are not pursuing any action legally for either Washington or Colorado State. And, you know, it's all changing towards that end, and that's basically all I wanted to say there.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none. Further comments from council? Councilmember Putnam?
Yeah, on the subject of Department of Justice, it's not clear to me, and I believe it's part of a question that's pending with the State Attorney General, whether, whether cities can have that provision in code. It's very common in many cities to have a provision that you can't license a business unless it's legal under federal law. Lots of cities have that. We've had that since long before this issue came along. And then the second question is, does federal promise not to enforce the law make it legal for the purposes of that restriction, or does it just mean that they're not going to do anything about it for now? So, certainly something that I'd like to see clarified, and I believe the State Attorney General is looking into that, among other questions on this issue.
Councilmember Chase?
Yeah,
And just to expand on that, all it takes is an administration change to change the way the Justice Department will approach it in the future.
And further on that, in at least one district, it doesn't even take an administration change. The federal one of the chief federal prosecutors has said that they're going to continue anyway, not in Washington, but in another jurisdiction. They intend to continue enforcing the law. So it's definitely unclear from our point of view whether that does constitute, is it legal, is it just they're not doing anything about it? How does that mesh with code in Washington?
Any other comments from council? Okay, so roll call of council on resolution 14-010, setting the public hearing for February 6th.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger?
Aye.
Councilmember Walker is absent. Councilmember Halsey?
Aye.
Councilmember